everyone, my name is Marlene and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at MCP, or Model Context Protocol, which is actually not new. And even though it's been around for a while in AI terms, the past few weeks I have been seeing it all over my timeline, whether that's on Twitter or on Blue Sky, just people talking about what they're building with it and how exciting this feels as a step in the right direction for the community. And so I decided to give it a try after being inspired by another demo that I saw being tweeted by Harrison, who is the founder of Langchain. And I thought I would go ahead and test out the new langchain-mcp adapters package as well. So this video is going to be walking you through how to get started with MCP and Langchain. So if you're interested in that, please keep watching. Okay, so I think the first thing that we should do is to try and understand a little bit better what MCP is. So I found this definition on modelcontextprotocol.info on that website, which I think is the official website for MCP. But it says that MCP is an open protocol that standardizes how applications provide context to LLMs. And on the website, they say you can think of MCP like a USB port for AI applications. So just like USB-C provides a standardized way to connect your devices to various peripherals and accessories, MCP provides a standardized way to connect AI models to different data sources and tools. So in a similar way that you would be, maybe using LangChain itself, for example, to connect to some sort of tools, like you would use that to connect to Bing or to Azure, whatever it is, whatever tool you want to use, MCP is trying to provide a standardized way to do that. I think that is probably enough context for us to get started with actually building our application. I'm going to leave a link below to the website with some information and documentation if you want to go a little bit deeper on this. So now that we have a good feeling of what MCP is, I think the best way to actually improve our understanding of it is to actually go ahead and build something. So we'll start by heading to the Model Context Protocol GitHub repository. They have, you just look for this specific, the Model Context Protocol. If you just search for that in GitHub, it will take you to their repository. And they have in this repository a servers library. And in this library, you have a whole list of some pre-built servers that you can use to get started with projects right away. That's what I'm going to be using for the video today. I'm specifically going to be using this GitHub server, and that's what we will be building our LLM application off of. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and clone this repository on our local machine. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I'm just going to go ahead and git clone, paste that in, and then clone that repository. And then let's go ahead and cd into servers. Now, once we've cloned this repository, we also are going to be using, like I mentioned for this video, the langchain adapters project as well, the langchain adapters package. And you can find that package on GitHub as usual as well. And here they also have some instructions for installing and also a little bit of information about how to use MCP. So we're not going to be building our own server. Like you can see here in the GitHub, it does allow you to be able to build your own MCP server using LangChain, but today we're just focusing on the client side. So we're really going to be just using a lot of similar code to LangChain. In fact, I'm probably just going to go ahead and copy this code and paste it into my terminal. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to create a new file. Let's call this langchain mcp.py. And then let's go ahead and paste the stuff that we got from LangChain there. It is showing some highlights because we haven't, of course, installed the packages. Now, I do have a requirements.txt file that I've already created, and in that we have the MCP package itself, the Python package. Again, you can find more information on that in the repository for MCP. We have the langchain-mcp-adapters package. We have the langchain Azure AI package, which we'll use to connect to 4.0. And then we have python.env for loading, and then Flask as well, because we're going to build, using some vibe coding, we are going to build an application for us that will be using our MCP backend as well. So to get started, let's also go ahead and install these requirements. So we can just run pip install our requirements.txt, and then let's run that. Could not open that. Oh, we are in the wrong folder. Let's go back. So let's try that again, and that will install all of the packages that we need. Okay, so now we've gone ahead and installed most of the requirements. Actually, I'm seeing that we need to install langgraph as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and add that as well to the requirements. Okay, so now that we've installed langgraph, I think we just don't have any more of these squiggly yellow lines. We do have some red lines here with async, but that's just because we need to create an async function to be able to call this and run the code as expected, which we will do in just a couple of minutes. I will say that I'm pretty much not going to change too much in this code. The thing that I will change here is, I'm just going to say langchain Azure AI dot, I think it's chat models, and then we're going to import from that Azure chat completions model. And I'm just doing that because I obviously have access to the Azure OpenAI Foundry to be able to call GPT-4o. I'm just going to grab this from another folder that I have, which is just the completions here, just the parameters that we will need to be running Azure OpenAI. We also need to import here, the import OS. The next thing I want to do is actually get the server set up before we actually change this asynchronous code to work with the GitHub MCP server. We want to make sure that Docker is installed. If you don't have Docker installed, so there's several ways that you can interact with the MCP server. You can do that through something like Code Desktop, or you can do that through Cursor, for example. But in this case, I want to run my application locally, and with that, I can use Docker. And then we also want to actually make sure that Docker is running. So to do that, I'll be back. I know that I have to look through the files. So I will be back. Let me make sure that it is. And then to find the build command for the image, let's go ahead and go into the servers folder, go to source, click on GitHub, go to the README. And I'm already there. At the bottom, very bottom of the README, there is this command that we can run. And this should build our image for us. And then when that's run, that was super quick, I think, because I've built it before. Now that we have the image built, we want to actually provide the commands and the pathway for running the server. And to do that, we are just going to replace this command here by giving it a route to Docker locally on my machine. So for that, I'm just going to type user. I think it's local bin Docker. I think that is correct. And then the next thing we are going to want to actually be run to get Docker started and also give it the right permission. So I'm just going to copy this from another project that I have already, and I'm going to paste it here. And I will just explain that you do need access. So this server that we are going to be accessing is the server that will allow us to access and complete actions or read from our GitHub repositories. And obviously this can have advantages and disadvantages. And if you are someone that is just getting started, you don't want to give the server access to loads of things just in case you make a mistake and you are deleting a repository or something. And so for that, you give the server access using a GitHub personal access token. And I will put a link below on how to get your GitHub personal access token. It's different from the GitHub token I mentioned above for accessing GitHub models. And this token will allow you, I think you navigate to developer settings in GitHub, and then you generate a unique token. And then once you've generated that token, you can provide the specific sort of restrictions or permissions. That's all we need to give to our client in LangChain to be able to run our application. So this code is not really going to change much. Maybe the question we are going to ask is going to change. So, I liked this question summarize the last 3 commits. Commit of the LangChain AI, I think LangChain Azure repo repository. I don't know what AI sometimes could be funny, but we're going to ask a different question. I'm also just quickly going to create an async def here function, and then we're going to just say run agent, say run GitHub agent, and this is just going to have this same code in it and allow things to work as expected. Let's see. Oh, okay. Thank you very much to Copilot for editing this slightly. I'm just going to make sure everything is correct. We're just waiting a couple of times. And then we want to return the agent response. I think that should work. Let's say return agent response. Now that looks about right. I think the next thing we can do is just change our folder. Oh, we do need to import async.io. Let's say import async. I'm hoping that things will run as expected. Let's go ahead and rerun the command, and let's see what ends up happening. Okay, we saw the server was running correctly. Oh, I'm not actually returning a response. So we should actually say this is the response equals, and then we should print the response. So let's go ahead and run that and see what happens this time. Hopefully it works. Let's see. Right. Okay, great. We are getting some stuff back. I see Facundo's name, who is one of the people that is also contributing to LangChain Azure. So I think we are in the right direction. We have lots of stuff that's being returned to us, so that's great. The only thing that I will say right now is that it is being returned in a little bit of a jumbled way. When I did play around with this earlier, I think it was something like we had to access the messages, and then from there we want to access, I think it was messages and like 3 or something, and then content. So let's try and rerun that and see if we get back the right response. It takes a little bit of time. Okay, perfect. And this is giving us back exactly what we asked for, which is really, really exciting. So now that we have everything set up for the backend, this is literally all the code we needed to get started. I pretty much just copied and pasted directly from the LangChain adapters README, which is super easy. I'm actually going to do a little bit of vibe coding. Okay, so this looks really good. We have everything set up. We have the studio parameters there. So let's go ahead and just run Python, magic, GitHub app.py, and that will get our fast API. No, I think it's a Flask server going. And then for the TypeScript stuff, we can just npm start. And that should launch stuff for us. Wow, I love it. So we have this very cool GitHub page, and we can ask a question. Let me summarize the open PRs in the LangChain AI/LangChain Azure repository. Yeah. Let's give that a try. I really like this. Wow, I really like this here. I think it looks, wow, and that was really good. And we have these 2 PRs open, one from Ben, one from Anush. And let's check. We go to LangChain Azure, which I have like on point here, and we go to our PRs. There's the PR by Ben, and here's the PR by Anush. And it looks exactly right. Yeah, I think it looks great. Okay, so that is the end of today's tutorial. I hope you found it useful. I've left some links for you to check out. If you have any questions, please feel to leave a comment below. Please share this video if you found it useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.